I vividly remember as a child driving around the Valley of the Sun, and you would see agriculture, you would see farms, you would see a bunch of empty lots. And today, Phoenix, Arizona has become one of the fastest growing cities in the United States of America. In fact, as of 2019, 200 human beings are relocating here every single day. A once hidden oasis in the desert has now become a very popular location for many people from outside of this state. Now, since so many of you are relocating here to Phoenix, Arizona, today I'm going to share with you 10 things you must know before making your decision to move to the valley. Welcome back to my channel, guys. You know the drill. If you're brand new here, smash that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. A lot of my info has reached a lot of you out there in Montana, New York, Texas, which are also some of the states that are really heavily relocating here to the Valley of the Sun. And I want to keep you informed of everything that's happening here in the Valley. So it's no surprise that Phoenix, Arizona remains one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. We're a huge, vast desert. There is plenty to do out here. The cost of living overall is ranked relatively lower compared to a lot of other states. The food here is absolutely phenomenal, and you will not go a single day without finding something to do, whether it be outdoors or some form of entertainment. So I'm going to share with you my experience living here in Phoenix, Arizona, and 10 things you must know before relocating here. All right, so you've done a little bit of research about Phoenix, Arizona, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper for you and give you some stats and some information that can ultimately help you feel comfortable about making the move here to the Valley. Obviously, the number one thing we want to know before relocating or making a move, right, is where do I live? So we're going to talk about the cost of living here in Phoenix, Arizona. So when it comes to the cost of living, we're going to start with housing. We all need a place to live, whether you're going to be buying something or whether you're going to be renting here in the Valley. You want to make sure that you have a solid idea of how much you're going to be paying every single month in the Valley. So we just got some recent statistics for the month of September 2023. And as of today, October the 18th, the average price here in Phoenix, Arizona is $430,000. So what kind of house can you get for an average $430,000? Well, I'll tell you, average 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 15 to 1600 square foot home in a decent area is actually something that you can get here in the Valley. In fact, we even have plenty of new build communities right now that are growing exponentially. They're taking up all that loose dirt that's here in the Phoenix, Arizona area, and they are building some amazing products right now. In fact, you can still find some new build communities for under $400,000. So on the other end, if you're going to be relocating here, you're not in that position to purchase just yet, and you're going to be renting a place, I would budget for around $1,800 to $1,900 every single month, not to include those utilities. That's simply going to be for an apartment or a house. Now, I've done a little research because when I'm helping people who are renting, typically 80% of them are renting homes. So this is going to be your average 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,300 to 1,500 square feet is what those prices look like. Obviously, if you need more bedrooms, more square footage, more amenities in your rental, you're going to be paying a little over that $2,000 mark. However, rent has gradually decreased over the last 2 to 3 years. And in my experience as a realtor here in the Valley, that's because the interest rates have gone up. So there used to be a time where renting and having a mortgage were essentially equal here in the Valley, and that has since dissipated as interest rates continue to rise, and it bumped some of the buyers out there out of the market and into a rental, at least for the time being. So I'll tell you, cost of living and housing, we are ranked 5% lower than the national average However, if you're in state like California, we're 30% lower in housing costs. If you're from New York, it's about 35% more expensive to live in New York than it is here in the Valley of the Sun. So I would say overall, Phoenix is a good pick when it comes to overall cost of living. Last thing I'll touch on when it comes to cost of living is gas prices, right? A lot of us are thinking of switching to going green, getting those hybrid or all electric vehicles. Right now, in October of 2023, the average cost per gallon is about $4.45. I remember not too long ago, 2 years for that matter, we were under the $3 mark per gallon, but in recent years it has increased, but is still relatively low compared to the rest of the United States. Okay, so we talked a little bit about housing, a little bit about what you can expect to pay for gas, right? How much do you have to make to live comfortably here in Phoenix, Arizona? I help a lot of buyers here relocate or move within the state. And in order to get one of those, $430,000 houses, you want to be making somewhere between $63,000 and $70,000 per year. Granted, there's a little caveat to this. So if you're making $63,000 to $70,000 per year and you have a large down payment to put down, you can probably get into a little bit more of house. However, if you do want to live comfortably, pay whether it's renting or you pay a mortgage, and you want to pay those gas prices that are currently out here in Phoenix, $63,000 to $70,000 is going to have you living comfortably. Not to mention, guys, groceries have increased a little bit out here. But I go to California pretty often. I go to Las Vegas regularly, and occasionally we'll drive up to Oregon, my family and I. Compared to just those three states, Phoenix still ranks lower in cost of gas, cost of housing, and groceries overall. So I would say this is a safe pick in order to get yourself in a comfortable way of living. Let's get a little more specific when it comes to Arizona real estate. So when it comes to housing, there has been a huge influx of downward migration from places like New York, Montana. We're getting people from Texas here as well. We're getting people from Connecticut. A lot of East Coast visitors are coming. We actually call them snowbirds. And a snowbird is somebody who, around this time of year, their part of the world is going to get really cold. In fact, snowy, icy, all of that stuff. We don't have that here in Phoenix, Arizona. So that migration from the East Coast down here to the West Coast has been a huge influx over the last couple of years. We are one of the top 10 fastest growing cities every single time that survey comes out because of the cost of our housing, right? Now, again, I'm simply talking overall Phoenix metropolitan area, but once you get into the weeds a little bit, you start to look at certain cities like Glendale, like Peoria, like Surprise, Maricopa, Scottsdale, Queen Creek, Chandler, just to name a couple, guys. That cost of living is going to fluctuate a little bit, but overall, the Phoenix, Arizona real estate market has stayed strong and relatively affordable compared to other parts of the country. Now, one little note I'll add to the Phoenix real estate market, because I'm helping a lot of people out here, is if you do have a current property, it's a good time to sell that. And not only is that happening in Phoenix, but like I mentioned, people who are moving from New York, California, Nevada, Montana, Connecticut, they're selling their property and able to, in some instances, pay complete 100% cash for properties down here in the valley because their pieces of real estate in their states are a lot higher than we have here. So keep that in mind if you're thinking of relocating here to the valley. So when you're relocating, right, you want to have some idea of where you are going to work. So we're going to talk a little bit about job market. So it is predicted by Gallup survey and Bloomberg, right, that there will be roughly 800,000 new jobs by the year 2030. And those are going to range from a lot of different businesses such as tourism overall, aerospace, engineering. We got a big chip plant that's coming out here, a huge manufacturing company, actually multiple manufacturing plants that are locating themselves out in Queen Creek, Deep Surprise, out there in Waddell as well, because there is still a lot of large, vast desert where a lot of these companies are erecting their HQ. And not only that, that's causing a lot of relocation and migration here as companies move to the valley. And if you're not getting into more of a specialty company or something such as manufacturing, engineering, aerospace, you can get into jobs like customer service. We have plenty of call centers out here that service different credit card companies, different banks, different sort of customer service entities. The overall job market in Phoenix, Arizona is actually pretty strong. So it is absolutely no secret that in the summer months in the valley, it is literal hell. I mean, excuse my French, guys, but it is hot as you know what during the summer months out here. So just this year in 2023, in the month of June, we had over 21 days of 105 plus degree weather. So before you consider moving here, you really must take into consideration exactly what it feels like in the summers in Arizona. So if you're coming out here, I'd recommend you at least pay a visit here, especially during the hottest parts of the year, June, July, August, so you can get a true feel of what it's like to. Now, obviously, summer does not last forever. Here we are in the second week of October, and I went out this morning when I was going to the gym, and it was about 65 degrees. So we have exponential relief when that summer does eventually break. And during these months, I'll say that we average around 80 to 85 degrees in the winter months. Now, I'm using the air quotes because we don't really have a true winter out here. We don't get snow in the Valley of the Sun. However, if you do like snow and a lot cooler weather, you can actually drive an hour or 2 or even 3 hours up north. You got the Grand Canyon, you got Prescott, you got Flagstaff, Payson, Page, Arizona, just to name a couple of places where they have tons of snowfall and tons of winter activities to get that overall winter feel. So in some large cities that I've experienced, like New York, like Connecticut, like New Jersey, they are very big on public transportation. So when it comes to transportation here in Phoenix, Arizona, this is something you want to keep in mind. We actually do not have a whole lot of public transportation outside of the bus schedule out here, and also a light rail that travels more so in the East Valley. So if you're not a driver or you don't own a vehicle, I would highly encourage you to look at those options, simply because if you're going to be looking to relocate here and your transportation is going to be means of public transportation, it is a little bit limited when it comes to that. Now, the overall Metro bus has expanded their routes, not only in where it's driving, but the times of day in which it is driven. So if you have a job where you're working that third shift, I believe the Metro bus runs until about 10:30 or 11 p.m. at night. Whereas when I was younger in high school, I even actually took the public transportation from home sometimes, and it stopped around 8 p.m. at night. But that was before we had 200 people moving here every single day. Okay, so when I'm not selling real estate, when I'm not hitting the gym or rolling jujitsu, when I'm not being a father, taking care of my kids and having fun with them, I love to eat. So if you are a foodie, right, you are going to absolutely love Phoenix, Arizona for diverse food. Obviously, we're pretty close to the Mexican border, so Mexican food out here is an absolute staple, not only in a lot of households, but you will get tons and tons of mom and pop Mexican food restaurants that are absolutely to die for. One of the most popular things that have come up here in recent years have been birria tacos. My family and I have 2 or 3 favorite spots that we go to. If you haven't had them, it's a fried taco with birria meat. There's cheese in it. It's absolutely wonderful. It's greasy. It's tasty. But more importantly, guys, it is something that is actually available readily here in Phoenix. Outside of Mexican food, you do have a lot of good fine dining that my wife and I tend to go to at least once a week, right? We have those date nights. We're visiting places like Toco Madero, Buck and Ryder, Nobu Sushi, Maple and Ash, and there is a steakhouse out here called Durant's that I believe by the end of this year is going to be closing down. However, there are numerous other steak shops out here that you will absolutely enjoy. So I'm a father. I have many daughters at home and a son as well. And one thing that's very important to my wife and I is overall education. There's a lot of this and that out there in the world right now. There's a lot of these agendas in public schools right now. However, in Phoenix, Arizona, we do have some pretty good high rated public schools out here. And if you are in the position to do so, we have some exceptional private schools as well. So, us personally, we have a few kids that are in public school right now and a few more that are in private school, both very high rated schools and also highly ranked here in Phoenix, Arizona. So when it comes to private schools, I'll elaborate a little bit on this. You have private schools that are elementary school grades, high school grades, and we even have a few private colleges out here. So we actually had a daughter of ours graduate from Xavier High School out here, which is a very predominant Catholic high school out here, very highly rated. They are always in big tournaments when it comes to golf, soccer, and also when she graduated, she actually went to Grand Canyon University, which is again a private school out here that offers many scholarship opportunities. That campus has grown exponentially over the last few years with new dorms, new buildings because of the overall popularity. So when it comes to education of all grade levels, you are safe when it comes to picking a good school. But as always, do your due diligence or reach out to me. I've had plenty of kids go in and out of school here in the Valley, and I'll be able to direct you in a very good spot for your particular needs. So something that I have never really taken into consideration because I've lived in Phoenix for my whole life, basically, daylight savings time. So how often do you guys have to do that? You guys that are on the East Coast, even in Texas, right? All the way up in Oregon as well. You have to set back those clocks 2 to 3 hours, is it? I don't even know because I don't have to deal with that. That's something you don't have to deal with here in Phoenix, Arizona. In fact, I personally know from visiting family on the East Coast that during those cooler winter months, the sun's going down about 4:30 p.m. and it feels really like your days are absolutely shortened. That's something you do not have to worry about here in the Valley. You have sunlight all day long up until about 5:30, 6 p.m. So you can squeeze a lot more out of your day here in the Valley of the Sun, and you don't have to worry about setting those clocks back every season. Where are my outdoors people? I personally love to get outside all 365 days of the year in the Valley simply because we have sun about 360 days of the year, whether it's summer, winter, fall, right? We have something for everybody every time of year. There are numerous outdoor activities that you can do here in the Valley, including hiking, including biking, many running trails as well that wrap around a lot of different neighborhoods, going down in canals. So there's something for you in every facet of your life. And if you're more of a nature buff, like myself and my family, we thoroughly enjoy a good camping trip, a good drive up north to Prescott or Flagstaff, Arizona. Also, we have had the great privilege of visiting one of the 7 wonders of the world, which is the Grand Canyon, right here located in Williams, Arizona. I'll tell you that again, when in the winter months, you want to be careful about visiting the Grand Canyon. It is a lot colder out there, and also you have a lot of that snowfall. So pay very close attention to driving conditions as you go up there. We did that one year and unfortunately slipped and slided a little bit on the road. However, it was absolutely a beautiful oasis and something I would highly encourage you to visit if you've never been to the Grand Canyon. We actually also recently got back from a camping trip right as it started to get a little cooler up in Williams, Arizona at the Kaibab Lakeview campgrounds. It was absolutely wonderful. The campgrounds were amazing. The people there were amazing, and they were actually visiting from all parts of the world, which was absolutely surprising. You can still, in the winter months, get up and get camping in some places up north where there's not snow, because when in some places where it does snow, they actually do close those campgrounds down because of the overall season. So overall, guys, I know you out there are watching this video because you are considering moving to the Valley of the Sun. If you are considering that, I would highly encourage you to take a visit down here if you can make it happen, or you can give me a call. Do me a favor, guys. If you want to link up, fill out the Calendly link in my description and let's book a free call. I will be more than willing and open to answering any questions that you have regarding moving here, regarding things to do, regarding housing out here, taxes, all of these things, guys. I have the wonderful privilege of being able to connect with some of you guys out there already who are in the process of buying their first, their next home, or their dream home. As always, guys, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Please drop me a comment and let me know what your favorite part of the video was. I am very grateful that you watched thus far. I will see you guys on the next one.